history. Explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. Another terrific Tuesday's edition of Talk Today as we invite you to share with us and we can focus on healthcare and talk to our good friends over at Health City. And it's the summer, so maybe we can help you to be safe when you're outside and look at your skin. So join us for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for joining us. Dr. Rashan, the Senior Consultant Radiologist, Radiation Oncologist. Hey, I get that right today. If not, I won't be able to enjoy my chocolate later. You know, the idea of cancer and cancer treatment, and if it's okay, I credit, the work of the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens helping us to speak to breast cancer so that in the Cayman context, the word cancer now is still, said with great respect and a sense of sensitivity, but it's spoken now publicly, all types of cancer. And maybe given the fact that we are on an island, many of us work outdoors, many of us don't even appreciate that just driving in our cars, how much the sun beats on our skin and how much it's not just age spots, but there are things that we should do. So, Dr. Rashan, from that perspective, when we look at the summer months, and for some, it's great. We got 12, 13 hours of good sunshine in the day, and we want to get our gardening done. We want to go fishing. We want to, enjoy the great outdoors, as it were. But we should be concerned about the potential negative consequences on our skin. If so, it may seem obvious, but why? I mean, it's just the sun. It's just our skin. A little sun for the skin is good, they say. Or is it?
So I think first thing, we should not stop anyone from going out.
Mm-hmm.
So they are eligible to go out and do their works. But I think we should take certain precautions while going out.
Mm-hmm.
Because even we are working in shades or even the outside's cloudy.
Mm.
Still we are exposed to ultraviolet A and B. We call it UVA and UVB, right?
Uh-huh.
So the days when there are too much sunshine, so I think we are exposed to these things too much.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain protective measures that we can take while going out. We'll discuss it maybe first we'll come to like
yes, sir.
Like an introduction why this is bad. So ultraviolet rays are actually when our body get exposed to these things.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll do certain changes. They do slight pigmentation in the skin, and they when the exposure is more, they lead to the already cells which are predisposed towards malignancy. They'll divide it. They'll kind of stimulate to them, and they'll divide it, and they'll eventually we can get cancers with this kind of thing. So, but before getting cancer, there are other issues too, like sunburns. Right,
Uh-huh.
they are very common.
Yes.
Because even if right now while coming to this studio, the sun is too hot outside. So if you are exposed to it, you can get a lot of sunburns. So I think there are a lot of things that we need to consider before going out in this kind of weather. So.
And that's the thing. I mean, you mentioned sunburn, and I appreciate it because some of us think, oh, it's cloudy outside.
Yeah.
It's overcast, so we don't need to worry about it. but you can still probably get sunburn even though you don't realize that it's not the broiling midday sun, it's overcast. Can you still get sunburn?
Yeah, because even if it is cloudy, because UV rays are passing that clouds, and then you just receive those hard and you can say these radiations that you're getting on your skin. So even if, because people say it's cloudy outside and we can go out and we enjoy on the beach, but it's not like that. So you're still getting those kind of radiations, and that will you predisposing yourself to burns and eventually the other hard things. Yeah.
The UV rays, you mentioned, A and B. What's the difference? Is there a difference? Does it matter if it's A or B? I mean,
yeah, actually, because the effects that they cause, they are different, and the remedies for them, they are different. So you need sun protection factors for them, and there are some kind of grading also. So if you need sun protection factors, if it is more, you are protected towards UVA, and if there is star rating. So if you're following the star rating, you need more star rating to counter UVB. Basically, they're ultraviolet rays only, but they have different effect and they have different remedies. So that's a very different rating.
And there are some ones, we look at our skin, we say, I need a little color in my skin, so we'll go in tan, TA.
Actually, so when I was preparing for this talk, so I went through literature. So there is no tan that is safe, and there is no method by which we can do this tan that is safe. So I think tan is not it's not recommended at this point of time. So we should avoid actually tanning. So some people say, okay, we'll get tanned, and this will save from ultraviolet rays. That is also not there. So you are still exposed to these kind of things, and you are predisposing your skin to basically these harmful effects.
So the person, and you help me, you look at some people and the pigmentation, the shades of the skin different. Some are, does that matter? I mean, some are as ghostly white as the freshly fallen snow, and some aren't.
So these are actually predisposing risk factors to develop malignancies. So we have seen in our clinical work and research that that persons who are little bit whiter tone of the whiter shade of the skin, and bit not exactly black irises, bit lighter shades, and these are, and maybe the persons with the red hairs and these and blondes, they are more predisposed to developing these kind of malignancies. I think they should avoid going into this kind of sun, right? And particularly if I'll say from 10 to 4, because this is the time when there is a maximum ultraviolet rays which is coming to.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned the time, because our parents and grandparents used to say, avoid certain hours of the sun. Not before this hour, not after that hour, not between these hours. So you say 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Generally speaking, kind of stay outside if you can, or stay inside.
So they have, I was just reading that they have made some rule also, like shadow rule. If your shadow is lesser than your body size, that is the time when there is a maximum UV rays. So that means 10 to 3 or 4. Again, that is the time. So when your shadow is longer than your body, I think that is the time when you can go outside, because going outside is like bit associated with getting vitamin D also from the sunlight. So I think I won't stop people going out. I think they should go, but they should follow that certain time frame in which they can go and just take it.
Dr. Roshan, I appreciate you mentioning vitamin D as well, because it would appear that as we go to our physicians for their regular checkups and they do their blood in the labs and they say, you're vitamin D deficient, take a supplement. We live on an island, and many of us seemingly are vitamin D deficient. So
still we are getting staying on island and getting so much sunshine. Still we are getting vitamin D deficiency. That means we are just staying inside the whole day. So I think we should plan activities in such a way that maybe early morning walks or late evening walks, that kind of thing.
Before 9, after 4.
Yeah, when there is lesser UV rays, but you get good sunshine. So
and how long should we go? 15 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours? I mean,
so for that also there are certain studies that were done. They are saying, okay, if you're going in the summers, so because only your 20 to 25% area is exposed to the skin, like face, arms, and like sun. And during that time, I think 10 minutes are sufficient to get whatever vitamin D is required for the person. So 10 minutes exposure is sufficient. But in case of winters, when you're covered completely in view of the temperature, so during that time they say, okay, 2 hours are required just to generate that vitamin D that your body requires.
So if you're going after 4 p.m. or you're going before 10 a.m., is it better to go at one time or the next, or it's the same?
It depends on how much active you are and how much
Okay.
activity you want, actually.
Okay.
So I told you that
Yeah.
in summertime, 10 minutes are okay.
Yeah.
And in winters, we need
Yeah.
maybe 2 hours. So you can divide your time accordingly.
Right.
Yeah.
But at that amount of sun in the summer, after 4 for 10 minutes, or for 10 minutes at 9 a.m.,
Yeah.
would still be, they're both still as equivalent.
Yeah, I think we can.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. But there is one problem here, like mosquitoes. So you cannot go after 5:30 outside. So
Yeah. I can start listing some
Yeah.
problems. Mosquitoes, dogs, people. Okay.
yes. So,
No, but I appreciate you sharing with us, because I think we take it a lot for granted, and I certainly want to ask you more about the different types of skin cancers and some definitions. But in addition to our skin, you reference, our irises, so our eyes are. To what extent should we be concerned about eye protection, and whether our eyes are dark or whether we have light-colored eyes?
So this is not actually some exact percentage that I can tell you, but they have seen that the persons who have these kind of characteristics, they are more likely to develop malignancies. So they have done studies and they have found that kind of percentage, but I don't know exactly what is.
Yeah,
the
yeah. Likewise. All right. So when we come back from the break, could we ask you about maybe a definition of skin cancer? What constitutes skin cancer?
So it's like a cancer. Like there is an abnormal multiplication of the cells, but right now it's because skin is the longest and largest organ of the body, so it's more predisposed to malignancies. So it's like a skin cancer. So when it is arising from the skin, so there are multiple types. So we'll divide into clinically in 2 major groups, like non-melanomatous and melanomatous. So like squamous cell carcinoma and basal cell carcinoma versus melanoma. So they have kept these malignancies into 2 different groups because their behavior is totally different from each other. But this melanoma, this is a very aggressive kind of tumor in which you'll find only a small, maybe mole or something that has started changing its characteristic in the last 3 to 4 months. And when we evaluate these kind of patients, they come with a metastatic disease.
Wow.
So at the start, when the primary is so small, they come with the metastasis. So that is a very aggressive tumors, and still science is working to find the best possible cure for these kind of patients, but still we are struggling with it. And on the other side, there are squamous cell carcinoma and basal cell carcinoma. So basal cell carcinoma is like, we call it like rodent cancer, because it dig your skin and it just go inside and make its ways into the different planes of the skin. But the good thing is that it can be cured with the surgery, and sometimes we add radiation also. Basal cell carcinoma is found in all those areas which are cosmetically important, like in the face, ears. So it's very important to decide which management you want for these cancers. Similarly, like squamous cell carcinoma, there are small tumors which are you can say it arises from the skin, and it has a propensity to go towards the lymph nodes. So initially maybe you will find a small lesion, but along the root, along the drainage area, you will find some more swelling that may be the metastatic disease because of this. But these things, if we found early, can be easily be prevented. So I think screening here also plays a very important role. You find it and you treat it, but the moment you leave it there soon, then you need more treatment also. And sometimes it metastasizes, then it will be difficult to manage and handle these kind of tumors.
Right. Yeah. Let's pause and take the break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion, and something that you referenced that many of us may have taken for granted or didn't realize. The heart and the lungs and the kidneys, they're organs, but we fail to appreciate that the skin is not only an organ, but the largest, right? So let's talk about this protection. Let's continue our discussion as we speak, to the whole idea of skin cancer. Please join us after the break.
It's a 24-karat summer with Digicel. In honor of our first truly COVID-free summer, Digicel is giving away $24,000. Be one of 10 to win $2,400 this July. For a chance to win, all you have to do is switch to Digicel, activate a Prime bundle, or simply pay your bill on time. It's that easy. It takes 2 minutes to get $2,400 richer. Make the choice to win today and visit a Digicel store near you.
how can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
Sports fans, tune in to Sports Extra tonight at 7 p.m. with guest host Ray Singh as we feature two returning international sporting delegations, the Cayman Islands women's rugby team and Academy Sports Club. We'll also be giving away a Pizza Boat gift certificate to one lucky listener during the show, courtesy of our newest Sports Extra sponsor, Pizza Boat, located in Queens Court Plaza.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, and we're speaking to the consultant radiation oncologist over at Health City, Dr. Rashan. I really appreciate the opportunity to learn. So if I ask something that isn't clear or isn't quite accurate, help me, because I think we need to appreciate it. I was just talking to a good friend and, was reminded, you never want to be the smartest person in the room unless you're giving a presentation. The more you surround your people with people who know, the better you are, because you learn. So thanks very much for taking this time and sharing with us.
Sure.
And it is summer. Our children are out of school, whether back from studies abroad, whether it's moving from one grade to the next, and they have the couple of weeks between finishing school and starting back in August and September. Hopefully we get the sunshine, we get to play, we get to laugh with our friends, but we as adults as well. So we wanted to ask about skin cancers, and you were sharing with us some of the types, and maybe talk about the risk factors and the symptoms, and help us to be able to be as healthy as we can, especially now, during summer.
Yeah. So one thing we discussed, there are certain syndromes, so in which the person's skin is itself predisposed to develop malignancies. So those are the person that we need to identify, and then we can guide them. Okay, how you can just reduce the chances of getting skin cancer more and more. Second is when we get so much exposure with the sun, like ultraviolet rays and that, and the time we are spending there, we are getting more. We are more predisposed to getting this kind of cancers. Second, the skin cancer, the persons who are working in the you can say we're working with the chimneys, right?
Yeah.
So they get that soot that irritates the skin, and that can lead to skin cancers. Similarly, the coal tar that we see, that if also comes in contact, that is act as an irritant, and that leads to skin cancers. So there are these kind of, and there are many more syndromes actually in which there is a genetic mutations, and that mutations will lead to the malignancies. So these are basically what are causes of the skin cancers. But how and the next question you asked me about, right?
Yeah, we're looking at some of the. I mean, we understand the risk factors, but some of the symptoms, and like for instance,
symptoms. I'll just take it. Like there will be small lumps on the skin, and which are persisting for the last 4 to 5 weeks, even if you are doing applying some ointments or something there. And there are certain these lumps which will increase in size, and they may ulcerate. It can bleed also, and sometimes they start itching. And when they involve the local structures, it causes pain also. So these are the 4 or 5 structures, 4 or 5 things that we just follow around those swellings. And there are certain red flag signs. Suppose if there is a mole, that is the most common thing actually. The people have moles, and after these moles change to the malignancies like melanoma that I have discussed. So it's suddenly what happens. It will started increasing in size, or it will cause pain to the patient. It will bleed, ulcerate. So these are the red flag signs for these moles. So just follow these things very carefully. In case you have these things, I think you can meet your personal doctor and he can guide you further.
So would it be helpful then for the individual, whether before or during or after the shower, or just when they're sitting down, look at their skin, and say, oh, I noticed that mole, but it looks the same. No, it looks different. Should we do that? And what?
Moment you find something is changing, that is the red flag sign actually. You have to meet your personal doctor. So I think he can guide you.
Let me then ask, maybe it's the wrong word, but we use it, age spots. We see these things on us as we age, some of us, right? What are those? How does that play into our skin care? Or is it just part and parcel for living a long life?
Okay, I just want to understand age spots. You mean to say that small pigmentation that comes with age?
Yeah, I mean that's the word that I'm
right. So I think it's not. I'm not going to scare you, but just to see it actually what is there. So I don't, because just as you said, while after bathing they can just have a good observant look, and I think the moment they will go for the next bath, I think they can just follow it regularly, and we'll come to know what's there. So only thing is, if there is any change, that is the key word actually. If there is some changes happening, that may be in view of sensation, or it's increasing in size, some bleed, ulceration. So moment you find it, okay, you will be, you alert yourself and your doctor also.
So with relation to that change, what about not just the size and the shape, whatever. What about the color of it? You look at it today and it's lightish color, and then in a week's time maybe it's darker color or something. Should we also pay attention to?
There are certain moles which are it ranges in color actually from maybe dark red to black, and the moment they change colors, so I think so that I have discussed already, that is also a red flag sign. So you have to immediately actually do some biopsy or something like that, so they will come to know what is the exact nature of this lesion. And similarly, because I told you in melanomas, even if the lesion is very small, it can metastasize to the body. So you have to be very, very careful with the melanomas.
And I think as I listen to Dr. Shan, maybe it is for us as people to pay attention to ourselves as we are using the self breast exams. Look at our skin. Look and see something different. There's something there now that you didn't notice before. Pay attention to it. Be your sort of best advocate.
So maybe mindfulness of the skin that you already discussed with me. Yes, definitely.
I appreciate you sharing that, because we jump in the shower, we put on our clothes, we go to work, and it's only when something
so many things are working in your mind and you just leave the place.
But what about something on our skin, right? So maybe it's visible on our arms, our chest, we can see it. Maybe someone points at something in the back. So two things then. Should we have a partner or someone say, listen, let's have a look at my back. I mean, the areas you can't see.
Maybe you can use a big mirror in your washroom and you can just have a look what's going on there. But I'm telling you, there are because malignancy will not come in a day. It will show some signs before that. You have to just catch those signs before it's going to be malignant or something like that. So maybe you can use the mirror and you can ask your partner or your kids, or maybe they can guide you better.
If it's okay to ask too, I mean, we're looking at skin cancers, so the skin, but our eyes, our ears, are those things that we should pay attention? Are we at risk of having melanomas, for instance, in our eyes or our ears or the like, in our noses and stuff?
Because the skin malignancy they can have, because our eyes also have a covering of the skin that is transparent. But you can get melanomas in the conjunctiva and all that, right?
Okay.
But those are things that are easily, you can daily, because you are looking into the mirror, you can easily catch those things because they're directly on your face. So only thing is that is good point on your back, on your limbs, upper limbs, lower limbs. That is the area where we miss actually. So I think we should keep, but
pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention.
And Dr. Roshan, from that, I gather that your family history, your genetics could play a role in other illnesses. Likewise, would it be the same for skin cancers?
Yeah. So there are certain syndromes actually in which there are mutations in the genes. And it's not like exactly family to family, but you will get that mutation, and that mutation will get converted into the malignancies. So I told you there is one condition called xeroderma pigmentosa in which person's skin itself is predisposed to malignancy. So I have seen 3-4 cases like that. So you'll treat one cancer, it will go off, but it will arise somewhere else. Again, new cancer. So those persons are like predisposed. Maybe they can hundreds of cancers.
Wow.
In the different places. So only thing you have to treat those cancer, you have to keep them under close follow-up just to find out whether some other cancer is coming up or not. So that is the key actually in those cases.
And help me to better understand. We see sometimes, even ourselves, but the people close to us, I'll use the phrase a skin peel. They'll get some product, they'll put on their skin, and that may be the wrong term, so correct me. Are those things helpful? Are they sensible to be doing? They'll put on some sort of lotion or cream or ointment or application and, to...
So I think you're talking about some scales that are coming out of skin, right?
Yeah,
some
and
dryness
on
and
it.
some...
But they're actually consciously putting on some sort of substance on their skin to, maybe take off the first layer and help to regenerate.
So I think skin is our organ. So we should not use any irritant over it.
Okay.
So maybe you're telling maybe they will rub the skin or that one skin with that chemical and they'll see, okay, they're okay. Yeah. But I think that should not be done because that itself is an irritant. So I think it's better to either use moisturizers at home or you consult your doctor if that kind of situation arises that you have to just peel off your skin just to get it better. I think we should not do that kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. Let's take the final break and ask about, when we come back from the break, ask about treatments. Well, what are available? Give us, a perspective. We can do that. Yeah. You know what, Miss Susan, there's going to be a test after this. So you will be taking notes. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Hey, is your phone slow, overheating, and dropping important calls? Don't fret. This summer, it's time to flip out with Digicel. Introducing the all-new Samsung Flip 4 with its sleek design and cutting-edge features. You'll flip into the summer in style and confidence. This summer, you can grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4, all just for $145. Flip into the summer with Digicel. Visit a Digicel store near you and grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4 and the amazing 7-day Prime Ultra plan today.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey is now in full swing, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness would like to thank the community for their ongoing support of this endeavor. Participants who have completed Steps 1 and 2 of the survey are reminded to complete Step 3 by July the 31st. Any survey participant needing additional support or information can contact mhwsteps@gov.ky or call 936-4969.
Talk to Dick.
But I do have some questions.
Talk to Dick.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk to Dick.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And thanks to LCD and thanks to Dr. Rashan, the senior consultant, radiation oncologist over at Health City. And I'm hoping that as people listening that will take a greater and a keener interest in our health and looking after ourselves. And this is why I'm very mindful that when I ask, I'm doing so that I'm helping to, be better informed. But as we speak into people that they, take it to heart and be, willing to understand and maybe implement. Because our skin is an organ, and sometimes without even realizing it, we're negatively affecting our bodies. I say that in asking, I'm thinking, we go to a space where it's a smoke-filled room, or there's other things, and we get it on our skin. Is our skin absorbing that and somehow putting it into our bodies?
I think smoke, if you're talking about smoke, I don't think so it will be smoke, but maybe some droplets or something, they will settle on the skin.
Right.
And,
and likewise, if given my thought process, we apply something on our skin, that probably just doesn't stay on the surface. It could absorb into our bodies as well. So we should be conscious of what we're doing.
Like I told you, chimney workers, right?
Yeah.
So there is a suit everywhere. Inside there is a suit. So whatever rubs on the skin, that will stay in the skin and that will get absorbed also.
Yeah.
So there are harmful chemicals there that is going to irritate your skin, and that is a proven cause for malignancy.
Right.
That suit that comes in contact with the skin. Yeah.
So be very, very, very careful. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
In the instance that someone has, been diagnosed, they've come and seen you, they've seen some issues relative to skin cancers, and what sort of treatments are available?
So treatments actually for this skin cancer mostly, there are two main treatments like surgery and radiation.
Okay.
So it all depends. It's what is the location of the disease, because cosmosis is very important when the skin is involved. Right. So the basal cell carcinoma that I have discussed with you, they're mostly near to the face and ears. Right. So here we need cosmesis.
Okay.
Right. So when you need cosmesis, you have to plan surgery very carefully. And suppose if you won't be able to achieve cosmesis with the surgery, you can straight away send that patient to the radiation, because we are not removing any chunk or part of tissue. We are just giving radiation to that particular part, and soon it will get healed and it will be like the normal skin. Right. So it all depends on what kind of stage it is, where is the location, what is the type of malignancy. Depending upon these factors, we can give option to the patient, and then patient can choose whether he wants surgery or radiation, because cosmesis, that is the main important thing here. Yeah.
So in looking at the treatments and we're seeing sort of radiation and the like, what sort of success rate, chances of a cure with radiation?
So skin cancer is the only cancer which can be easily detected, right? So it's because in a day or two you will see actually if something is developing there. So if you found it early, so it's a more than 90% chances it can be cured. Right. So only thing if the lesion is neglected, that is the only chance when there might be a case in which it caused metastasize and we won't be able to treat it. But most of the times it can be easily found, and there are more than 90% chance it can be cured. And with radiation, we actually treat these tumors with the help of electrons.
Okay.
So we have that facility here in our hospital. So with the help of electrons, we can target that particular area. And the benefit with electron is that we can spare the tissue which is beneath that tumor, right? So we are treating tumor. At the same time, we have a sparing effect to the structures which are lying below that. So this is a win-win situation actually.
So very targeted, specific to that area.
Yes, and it then I'm telling the cure is more than 90%. So I think that is a great. And in oncology, if you get these kind of cures, that is a great thing actually. More than 90% cure.
And I think, and then I guess the recovery, as opposed to generally speaking, is surgery. A recovery with electronic beam therapy would be faster and perhaps.
So it's like surgery is a one-time job. We can just remove it, but only thing I'm talking about cosmesis, because that will not get that kind of cosmesis. So sometimes we use the both together because lesion may be a bit large in size, so we'll excise it, and when the lesion is more than 2 centimeter, there are chances that it will come back. So at that time we add radiation just to sterilize that area so that it should not come back there. And if the lesion is small and the patient wants cosmesis, we'll add directly radiation to that particular part. And one thing I want to highlight, like there are scars, and when these scars get healed, there is a term called keloids. There is keloid formation, abnormal scar formation. For that also we'll give electron therapy, so that ugly looking scar that can go and the normal skin can come. Yes.
Thank you for answering. I was going to ask you, because sometimes they'll have that bit here, a bit there, and they'll have it removed, but then you'll see that they had it. So you can also
that can be managed actually.
All right. And I think many times we may not appreciate how we ourselves will look at something and not and be unwilling to get it treated because we don't want the consequence. In this instance, ignoring it could lead it to going through the body and being worse.
Because when it is confined to the skin, there are chances of cure. But when it will go beyond that skin through some organ, lung or somewhere else, then it would be very difficult to manage those things. And in those scenarios, we'll treat in such a way that it, like with the palliative intent, that means we are just controlling the symptoms. We are not curing the patient. So but skin will give you a lot of time before metastasizing. So I think we can catch it before.
So if any of us are under the impression that it's a skin cancer, we don't have to worry about it going to the rest of the body, we should dispel that notion. If it's skin untreated, it could end up in other organs.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. I think sometimes we see something on the surface and we go, it's no big deal. Just ignore it. It becomes worse.
Better to get it checked once with the doctor. I can advise you.
All right. With that, I know Health Cities opened up a new radiation oncologist center. Can you give us some updates as we close our discussion?
Actually, this is a state-of-the-art center that we started on 16th of May. And initially we treated, we have already treated few patients here. Roughly, I think 20 cases we already treated. And they are successfully discharged without any complications. So they are doing well. And they have given very good reviews that how they felt during radiation. So I think we are doing a good job here. So
congratulations.
Yes.
And that would mean that if it wasn't for this, they would have to travel off island somewhere else. So they can do it there. It's convenient, cost effective, but you're still in your own space.
Because they can manage their family, their kids, their jobs while staying here and getting treated. So it's basically all the techniques and the management, you can say management like surgery, radiation or chemotherapy, everything is available under one roof. So I think there is at this point of time there is no need to travel anywhere. So all the things are possible here. So I think that things can be managed.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, as we drive in on the facility bits, we can see the facility literally just springing from the ground. I mean, if you're absent from the country for any period of time, within weeks you see. So it's on target to open up next year.
Most likely in 2024. It will. It is going to come up in a big way.
In a big way.
It will help the radiation center also, because that is a mothership. So that will help us also. Yes, definitely.
Well, you got electrons and you got X-rays. So.
Star Wars kind of thing, but
Well, I think it speaks well to not just the confidence that we have in our economy, in our country, but the services that will be provided to the population, but also the attractiveness to the region as well.
Yes. We have treated few international patients also successfully, so they're good now. They have discharged and they went to their countries.
It's amazing. I mean, it gives our people here the scope that they can learn more, they can train in specialized areas and still remain, if they choose, in the country and work, as opposed to having to be, deployed elsewhere.
Yes.
Good knowledge transfer, they say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I certainly always appreciate the chance to learn more about, education, learn more about healthcare. And the more we can educate people about healthcare, the better. Any closing thoughts you may want to repeat or remind our listeners, Dr. Roshan?
Reminder, I think, this is July month for sun safety. So I think we should avoid going in that particular hours, like 10 to 4. Avoid good amount of sunscreen or something like that. So maybe use good 50 SPF 1. So that will be good. So these are things that we can do. Yes.
I'll repeat what I thought you said. 10-15 minutes of sunshine before 10 a.m. not after. After 4 is okay. But prolonged periods not sensible.
Maybe we can miss 5 days, and on 7th day we'll go for 6 to 8 hours. That is not recommended.
That's not good.
Not recommended. Yes.
Get 10 minutes every day for 7 days a week versus 70 minutes on one day. Would be better.
I think this much time we can keep for ourselves.
Yes. All right. So a little bit can go a long way. Yes. Well, I really appreciate it, and I'm hopeful that we won't take our health for granted. We won't ignore our skin. We won't dismiss the impact that too much sun exposure can have on our, not just our skin, not just the way it looks, but the fact that it could lead to skin cancer, that could lead to other cancers. All right. Well, I'm hoping that we have a conversation again, and as I speak to you, I'm always mindful of what's important. Yes. So Dr. Roshan over at Health City, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for calling.
Please, to you and all of the good team, Dr. Achida and everybody else across all the different departments. Really have a wonderful afternoon. All right?
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
All right, Ms. Susan, can I invite you to sing with me after the news break? We can sing the song that we used to sing in primary school. I want to keep my listeners, so we're going to invite Ms. Susan. She has a poetic voice, right?
Great.
She does I'll work on her, see if we can get her to sing. Join us after it's going to be some open line.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. A 50-year-old woman of Georgetown was arrested on Friday, July 21st, in relation to a burglary incident that took place on July 11th at a residence in Georgetown. The woman was formally charged with burglary and appeared before the court July 24th, where she was remanded into custody until today. In international news, a retired U.S. church pastor, 83-year-old David Zanstra, who presided nearly half a century ago at the funeral of a kidnapped 8-year-old girl, has been charged with her murder. Gretchen Harrington went missing on the morning of August 15, 1975, while attending summer Bible camp. Earlier this year, an anonymous woman told investigators she believed her best friend's father was the culprit. Zandstra is now charged with murder and kidnapping of a minor. Delaware County District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer told reporters on Monday he killed this poor 8-year-old girl he knew and who trusted him, and then he acted as if he was a family friend, not only during her burial and the period after that, but for years. Mr. Zandstra confessed to the crime after his arrest last week. In their opening match against Nigeria, Canada midfielder Quinn became the first out transgender player at a FIFA World Cup. Quinn is a key part of Canada's midfield. Their place as the midfield anchor is crucial as the Olympic champions aim to add the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup trophy to their cabinet. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts, MBE, JP. Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts was born at Cotton Tree Bay in Kimabrack on 15th October 1916 to James Nathaniel Tibbetts and Elsie Huldah Tibbetts, née Hunter. In 1931, the family moved to Belize, then known as British Honduras, where young Keith worked on boats on the dry dock. However, the family returned to Kimabrack after 6 months, and that is when he began to build catboats. During the 1932 hurricane, at the age of 16, being a strong swimmer, he was able to save many people. However, his baby brother, only sister, and grandmother unfortunately perished. A week after the island-wide disaster, his uncle Dwight came to the island on his own ship with some relief supplies and brought his brother Ronnie. After assisting with the rebuilding of the family home, resurrecting the family car, and helping other relatives and the community rebuild, he built and sold several catboats before going to Jamaica to seek employment as a seaman. This was part 2 of a special Sister Islands vignette series dedicated to Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts.
I'll be back. I've got 22 more days.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And it is, a personal belief that laughter is indeed good medicine. It is a personal conviction that to have a joyful, content spirit may cause you to see things in a very positive way. There's also a reality and recognition that life is hard. Life comes at you fast, and a lot happens. Many of the things are unexpected. Many of the things that we can't control as much as we would like to or think that we should be able to. And I say that to appreciate that for many of us, we have to get up, go to work, do what needs to be done, knowing that our hearts are heavy, knowing that our minds are, sort of weighed by things that are transpiring in our lives, have transpired, the sad news that we received, the high probability that something is going to happen and that thing isn't necessarily a good thing. But what do you do? And I say this respectfully. Having had a conversation with someone earlier who said, listen, you know the situation, this is the reality, this is what we're facing, this is what, is going to be. You don't want it, you don't like it, you wish it didn't have to be. You would probably do anything to change it, substitute you for them. But in reality, that's not the case. And so you can't embrace that thing because it's not a good thing, it's not a positive thing. But do you know that you have the strength to endure it? They say joy comes in the morning. And as much as we attend funerals and those who are speaking try to find something to say to comfort those who are mourning, who looking at it and they feel the sadness, not just then, not just when the thing happened, but continually. Now, I've looked at language, and it's not just how perhaps I say the word MORNING, and it sounds very much like MOURNING, right? Try saying two words to yourself. Do they not sound a whole lot alike, right? You're not just mourning in the morning, right? And as much as your accent and your particular speech pattern, the way you may, pronounce things, but perhaps the, etymology of the words may have similar origins, maybe not. Nonetheless, I say that for two reasons. How mindful, as Dr. Rashan reminded me of, something I always used to say until now it's being said so much that it's just words that are becoming cliches, and talking heads repeat them without any great thought. Always grateful to be in the presence of people who can help me to appreciate something, to learn something I didn't know. And they're not only on the older, wiser heads. Sometimes they're a very young person, and you allow yourself to see life through their lens. The beautiful thing, if you can think back to a child just discovering something, and in the innocence of that child, to hear that laughter, to see that smile, to see that recognition. Have you ever, deliberately, consciously went, sit by the water's edge and watch the sunset? I mean, look consciously at the setting sun. Not peer into it to hurt your eyes, but to look. I never believed that there was such a thing as the blue flash. I thought, or is it the green flash, Miss Susan? Which is it? There's a flash of sorts, right? It's the green flash. And it's just something people say. But have you seen it? And if you looked more than once, have you seen it more than once? But how many times we're, there watching the sunset, but the set's without us actually watching? Now, Mr. Schofield reminds us, that there's a birth date and then there's an end date. And the dash between the two should be what matters, the way we are contributing to the lives of others. A friend reminded me just, moments ago, the importance of calling people on their arrogance, their insolence, of reminding people that to whom much is given, much is required, reminding people that the greatest exercise of power is restraint, reminding people that the positions they occupy, the titles that they hold, they shouldn't just be used and abused, but they should be, exercised in such a way that they bring value to others' lives. So with that in mind, let's have an excellent discussion. It is open line 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free if you so choose. Compliments of flow 1-800-534-8255, and then you can WhatsApp 925-3261. I had an opportunity to be a part of a presentation, and sometimes our days are exhausting. We feel exhausted because, we're bouncing, as my mama says, from pillar to post. We are, run ragged, and we seem to have all the sorts of things to do and not enough time to do it. Remember that show with Burt Reynolds and Smoking the Bandit, you know? He talked about, you know, got a long distance to go and a short time to get there. That's sometimes how we feel. But to what extent are we looking at what we're doing, perhaps looking at what we're not doing? Are we listening to what we're saying and considering the consequences of that? Are we helping? It's not about being naive, you know. It's not even about having good intentions. Now, I'll say it this way, and I know it's been said differently, so you can call and, you know, add to it. But have you not heard? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, others shared. Now, the question is, what are we doing to make sure that what we are doing positively matters? Not about being naive. It's not even about an endeavor to try to be noble. It's about being in the moment so that your contribution isn't just for immediate gratification. Mr. Bill Adam always talked about the cathedral builders. And if we look at our parents and their parents and their parents' parents, they were the forefathers, as we would term them. They laid the foundation, you know, for our country. For those who subscribed to prayer, they were prayerful. They not only prayed for themselves and their children, but for their children's children's children. And perhaps that prayer, like many who may have been introduced to the study of noetics, would have said, well, if you put good things in the universe, maybe good things will come. You know, good thoughts and energies can align the chakras and can bring into spirit. Now, however you speak to that, wouldn't it be better to be positive and productive and your sort of, you know, thinking and acting, perhaps to do it better, as opposed to, you know, not just the cursing, but the cussing, not just the malicious and maligning manner in which we, you know, interact with each other, but consciously. And sometimes, just like a parent who may have to say to the child, you know, I love you dearly, but here's the beat. You're not going to have this. You're not going to have this now. You're going to have this amount. And this is the consequence. But the question has to be asked. In that disciplined approach to parenting, have we somehow destroyed the potential for that child to be that much better? And worse, have we caused that child to now be reared in such a way where there are no boundaries? There are no sort of shared values of, you know, inculcating an ethos of ethics and integrity, of honest, of, you know, hard work, of respect, self-respect, but respect for others. When we look at, you know, the things that are happening in schools, are we asking ourselves, are they a reflection of the things that are happening in our homes and in our communities? And not only the misbehavior of the adults in the schools, but the insolence of children in schools. What about in our workplaces and in our homes? You know, is one informing and affecting the other? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp, you can call it, you can send a voice note. We'll play it if you want. You can have something that we'll read and we will share that as well. That's 925-3261. And I said it to share that in this presentation, the individual, as I understand from reading the bio, very, very well respected in her field, highly published, and was asking, in amongst the many things, is society at a space now where no longer are we able to question things, question authority, to understand the importance of debate and discussion and expressing a difference of opinion? And she said, in so doing, have we also failed to teach people how to, you know, question? She gave us an example, and I hope I recall it and relate it correctly. You're driving and in a police car in a police uniform approaches you? What is that interaction, and what is your perception of that? Is it that the car you're driving and the color of your skin going to affect the way that interaction? Is it your, ethnicity, your gender? Is it the place in which that interaction occurs? Will the officer approach you? Now, when you ask the officer, unlike the movies, and you stick your head out or you get out of the car or whatever it is you do, and you say, "Oh, what's the problem, officer?" Are you able to ask and interact to ensure? Are you not just, compliant and respectful for that authority figure, but is that authority figure respectable and presenting, in its uniform, in whatever resources, whether taser, gun, bulletproof vest, overhead helicopter? Have we created an unsafe environment for both the officer and the individual that is now, being questioned by that law enforcement official? And you might say, well, no, it's not your experience. But do we have respect for authority? And as authority figures, whether it's the parent, whether it's the pastor, whether it's the politician, whether it's the school principal, are we respectful and respectable in our interactions, in our, comings and goings? Now, it may seem for some of us, well, that doesn't make sense. Of course it is. Or it may seem for others, you know what, that's true. So this lady, in saying that, she shared that if you look at the way people have been, in particular, she's working on some research she shared in her sort of preliminary data, starts to question how people are not only failing to interact with each other, and not just publicly, but also in their small workspaces, in their small family gatherings, in their assemblies even. And she said she's not yet had the opportunity to get into that particular area, but even in their Bible studies, their spiritual gatherings, she's starting to question whether even to that level of interaction is being impacted. Going on the premise that she'll get to that later, but on the premise that those sort of groupings tend to be very supportive and healthy, not just spiritually, but mentally and physically. And as a consequence, she shared that if we're starting to pull away from each other, she used different phrases, but as I listened to the presentation, I wasn't physically in attendance, and that itself raised certain concerns. Not that we're leveraging technology to be able to participate in certain presentations that we would otherwise probably be not able to do so, simply because of the cost, the time that it happens, and the time it would take to do that. But sometimes the notion that in the space or in the location, you just can't get there. The room can only hold 100 people and 10,000 want to be a part of it. Or the room can hold 100 people but 101. And, you're the 101. And unfortunately, there's no space for one more. But she's shared that the way we're looking at life now, we're becoming increasingly, concerned as to what is happening to the value and the perception of life. Now, we can talk about a couple of things. In yesterday's discussion, as I listened to that presentation, I reflected on some of the things that we've been talking about, and the notion that many of us expect the people in power, so in the case of Cayman, or elected officials, the government needs to do something. Well, what is it that the government needs to do? How is it going to do it? Is it that only the elected officials can do it? Should it only be them that do it? Are we expecting that they should have all the answers? Are they the only ones that can think, should be thinking? Now, that's a tall order. But take, for instance, the increase in cost of living, and if you were to isolate it, given the recent, press release, to the high cost of rents and properties, should government restrict, who can purchase land, how much the cost should be for the rental rates and the like? Well, it's something that many would quickly suggest should be the the case. Others would say, well, we can't have such strong government intervention in a free market economy. Now, not that they're advocating for a laissez-faire approach, but they're asking, should a government restrict? Well, when we have a minimum wage, is that not a government intervention? When government regulates certain things, whether the conditions to your license, the very fact that you need a license to do this thing, and with the license, well, you can only operate on these days or in this manner. Societies may come to expect and accept that those are things that make a society civil and safe. Now, do they? Well, 949-8037, 949-6990, or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. And then, of course, you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. Now, as we get ready to take some calls, the other concern is in a society and in the Cayman context in particular, there have been many who've asked, well, what are we doing relative to development? Are we encouraging, too much development? Are we encouraging the right type of development? Do we need to look at maybe restricting it, putting a moratorium, some have said? What about the population? Similar questions. Too many people, not enough. Maybe people who are not adding sufficient value to the economy. All sorts of things. Well, let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
Not too bad. How are you?
Oh, excellent. Very, very thankful.
That's good. Mr. Sterling, I want to hit on the announcement that just made a couple of days ago in regards to reopening up to Barbados. I'm not to criticize anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope that no one doesn't take it in no wrong content. But, I guess just got me puzzled to a degree. We just opened up a couple of the jurisdictions and flying there, happily, so far so good. And I was just wondering what the wear and tear would be on our airport, that we don't even have a big enough airport to accommodate what we're doing right now, and what wear and tear would have on our planes, our stewardess. Airport does not open 24 hours a day. Closed down a certain hour at night. I think like 10 o'clock is the last flight that comes in at night from Miami. You there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So I was just wondering. I asking people, please do not think I'm trying to disrespect anyone. I am just curious about all the areas that we have just opened up since COVID. And as you know, there's a lot of people traveling on summer vacation, going overseas. And I just hope that, nobody gets sick and bring it back in more than what we got as it is. I drove through town this morning about 9:15, and Sterling, downtown Georgetown, had looked like a COVID day when it was closed down for the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what Georgetown had looked like this morning. No cargo boats in dock, no cruise ships, nobody walking the walk, very few cars driving through. This was like 9:15. But anyhow, I just want to get back to our new destination. And, Sterling, we all Caribbean islands, and, Cayman is ranking to be the highest, most expensive island right now in pretty much other places in the world. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder, opening all these gateways for Cayman, what do we have extra to offer our visitors, knowing that our product that we still have here is so limited. It is so limited, and we heard about any new scenery, new show and tells, and all that kind of stuff for the island, we're just sitting here with the Turtle Farm, the Hill Rocks, and the gift shops down there, the Botanical Garden, Pedro St. James, and the caves, and the beach. I don't know what else is there right now that they could jump out at me, but I'm back upon so many people just from the cruise ship and from the air that say that they've been coming here for years, but what brings them back here is mainly the beach, which is good to hear. And probably a few restaurants that they have went to before and they want to come back and try it, and when you tell them that that restaurant no longer in business, then they'll say, well, what do you recommend, and so forth and so forth. But when we got to go and spread our wings so widely, I think we need more to offer, because coming here to the rest of the world, to go and buy a lobster dinner or a conch fritters, knowing that the Caribbean is swarming with conchs and lobsters and probably shrimps and all that kind of stuff, and comparing our prices to where these people are coming from, they're like, I can go to the beach and pick up 2 conchs and it doesn't cost me this much. This may all sound like stupidness, but believe me, it is true. Just thinking about it after a while, it is true. Sure, Cayman has beautiful beach, but not for the locals. You have to walk to a track, and that's what we need to work on. Stop making the locals walk to a track to get to the beach. But yet, we can tell the people that we got beautiful beaches and the hotels are sitting on the beach and so forth and so forth. One hotel right now on the 7 Mile have to take their people down to public beach to swim because they're having beach problem, you know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not here to criticize nobody. I just want to hear what some other people input would be.
Right.
On spreading our wings. And I just heard the U.S. that they say that they're cutting back on luggage on their planes. And they're putting less fluid in their planes because of this heat wave that is going on right now. You understand? So I would just like to know what the wear and tear is going to be on our airlines and our staff and our airport with accommodation there at the airport. How long these people are going to be waiting in line? Not just Barbadians, but other airlines that will be coming in practically around the same time. Starting when I was at the airport on a Saturday, including Kim and Brock, we got like 27 flights down for the day, from sun up till sunset at night. The last one like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock from Miami. I was including the flights from Kim and Brock. You have to include them. They're important too, But I just want to hear some more input. What people think about us opening our
Indeed.
So wide, and what do we have to accommodate them with? What really do we have?
Right.
Hotels are expensive. The bed and breakfast is expensive. Everything is expensive. I'm not trying to discourage them, but someone asked the minister something on what I was watching the channel here, and they say, oh well, they'll rent a car and the restaurant, so so forth and so forth. Never mention taxi, but I am not, because I'm one that it bothers me. It don't bother me condival, and I take my taxi quicker sometimes than they will rent a car. Don't get me wrong. And I was listening to some other thing I had just some weeks ago too, and this gentleman called from he was internationally on Zoom, and when Mr. Brian spoke about how we own our own airlines and so forth and so forth. This man asked if there's any ways that we could help them try to own their airlines and so forth. See where I'm coming from? And in this meeting, they was talking about revenue. Who is the revenue belongs to? You had a gentleman on yesterday in regards to this, I guess I'll call it Skyping that they're going to give people to help with their light bills. And I was listening to him. I just want to tell him today that I am a Caymanian, and I am not qualified, because he says there's going to be very few of us that will be qualified to get some help with the electricity, because you got to burn so much kilowatts. So when my son checked it, he said, well, Ma, you wouldn't be able to go on this, to apply for that. So, like the guy asked, and I'm going to ask now, who going to get the benefit of them getting their light bill paid up for these hot months that we are dealing with? And me and my girlfriend went for breakfast Saturday. We was talking about gratuity. Is gratuity mandatory at is it a law? Is it a law, you know?
My understanding, in particular at restaurants, that for a restaurant to charge gratuity, it has to have it authorized by the Department of Labor and Pensions, and then that report has to be sent to them. But by law, as a guest at a restaurant, if your bill is say $100 and $15 of that 100 is gratuity, then you do not have to pay that if you choose. It's not mandatory. If you say no, I would like the gratuity taken off, whether you will then leave it separately or whether you add more and leave it, that's up to you. But you do not, it's not a law, and it's you can refuse it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, a two-person breakfast for $30, and then you're going to charge 15% gratuity on it. And nobody explain it to you or show you where they are applied to have the permission to do it.
Yeah.
So I was telling my friend, you don't have to pay no gratuity. You can ask them to please remove it.
Right.
And you can tip according to the service that you got here by this table this morning.
Right.
That is my belief in the gratuity.
And it's also, my understanding, if you are a restaurant and you are charging gratuity and you haven't had it approved by the Department of Labor and Pensions, then you are, breaking the law. You need to have to be an approved, restaurant that does that. All right.
And I'm quite sure they don't have enough bodies to see that who has these things, and they should be assigned on their wall stating that they got permission to charge us 15% gratuity on these people. On these people on bill,
All right. Well, I certainly appreciate you sharing that. Anything else before we take the break?
I'll call you back.
Okay, you do that. We do have
if I couldn't get through, but I'll try to call you back.
You do that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And as we go into the break, a comment off air is, for restaurants that do charge it, why just do away with gratuities altogether and let people, decide whether they want to leave and to the extent that they want to leave. Now, some people will, pick us up on that. Let's talk about it. But let's take this break first. Join us after.
As a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
It's a 24-karat summer with Digicel. In honor of our first truly COVID-free summer, Digicel is giving away $24,000. Be one of 10 to win $2,400 this July. For a chance to win, all you have to do is switch to Digicel, activate a Prime bundle, or simply pay your bill on time. It's that easy. It takes 2 minutes to get $2,400 richer. Make the choice to win today and visit a Digicel store near you.
All aboard the Pizza Boat! Cayman's newest pizzeria. Birthday parties, office luncheons, summer camps, game night. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat. A Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery
delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britke. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Open Line. And thank you very much for joining us as we go straight to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just here chilling out, listening to
All
what you have to say.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for listening and certainly appreciate your call. And maybe between us we can get in some interesting discussion. What's on your mind today?
Yeah, well, I would like to, I don't sing, right? But I do listen to music, you know. I meditate throughout the nights when, you know, the time is very quiet and you can think without any commotion.
Yeah.
You know, there's a verse sung by Mark DeMarco, and I kind of really like listening to his music. You know, it gives a nice little mellow vibe. You know, and in one of the lyrics, when you listen to it, it says, I'd say, see you next time if they thought there were a next time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easy conversation. It ain't exactly where we're at. It is so strange deciding how I feel about you. I ain't used to going on without you. When I listen to the lyric, the way how he sings it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It puts you in a it's like a spell of realization. I don't know, a lot of people think of realization as a key of understanding, but I got some news from my cousin this morning. You know, I were talking with him and I was asking him how he day going so far, and then this afternoon I picked him up and we were just talking a while ago, and he was telling me about how he had an altercation with the police last night for no reason, you know, and they basically assaulted him as if he was a criminal, and they approached him with guns and everything. Like, he was terrified. He didn't even want to talk about it, really. I was telling him, why don't he call in on the show and let them know this is the type of foolishness they're going on with, you know, like victimizing people. Maybe it's because of appearance, maybe because he looks Spanish or Caucasian, or maybe he have a suspicious feature that they don't want to disclose, and they're saying it's a complaint, but nobody is around to complain. And, you know, it leads into a lot of questions and what we was talking about with the tyranny and tyrants on this island. And like I tell you already, you know, it's not that it doesn't exist, it's nobody is talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's something that is concerning to me, knowing that that's not just only me going through it. I know that for a fact. There's a lot of other people, and it's a discriminatory type of thing that's going on.
Yeah, it is an interesting time in human history, and things that are happening globally, we see happening here. From abuses committed against people to abuses of power, you know, by people in authority, to a lack of respect for self and for others, a lack of, you know, willingness to try to understand others' perspectives. It's quite interesting to see. I wonder what future generations will have to say about, you know, the actions of this last, you know, decade, you know, maybe, you know, for the next decade. It'll be interesting.
And pointing out on that part too, should it be their personal concern to take a picture or photo of an ID that is presented to them, like not willingly but forcefully? That this is the situation that had happened, and they accuse, they're like assuming maybe he might have drugs, because that's one of the questions they asked, if he had any drugs on him or anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how do you assume somebody has drugs on them just by looking at them? What is that their job to do that? Or is that their job that if they see someone walking on the side of the road that they should only assume that they do have drugs, let's violate him or her?
As I listen to you, maybe this is where a society could help itself by, informing itself better relative to its constitution, relative to the powers of police, the rights of citizens, the understanding and expectation of behaviors. Remember, not long ago, there was this notion of profiling, not just from policing apparatus, but people going through airports and the like. And we would expect that there is a certain level of training, a certain skill set that is developed to assist in crime detection, in investigations and the like. Now, to what extent, when we're hiring people, are we looking at the behaviors of those people, their psychology? Are we employing, sort of tools like psychometric testing to try to understand, given that we are becoming increasingly cognizant that certain professions attract, certain dispositions? Now, I would venture to say that the police officer, it's just my personal opinion, should be, your very best in your society. The demands that are placed on a police officer, from being a social worker to a parent at times, to a person controlling law and order, to the psychologist and the counselor, to the person who almost simultaneously have to wear many hats in order to ensure that situations don't become any worse than they are, that they are able to maintain, law and order. And there's I would venture to say, a significant demand on that person's ability, presence of mind, and just, sort of physical ability can be demanding as well.
Yeah, the way that we think, I think that we need to think more about our actions and how we do things. If we can do it more professionally, and like how the song was saying, how I feel about that, about our island, about our government, about our police force, our governor, our whole entire system that we have on this island. I feel like I've been having to reconstruct myself, like when you have to relearn something that you have learned, but then you realize that what you have learned before was just a lie. And then they tell you must respect your elders, but the elders must not respect you. But they tell you, keep dreaming, dream on. And then when you dream and then you actually try to make dreams become true, and they don't like what they see, and you have somebody just ready to step on your foot just so that you can't move off, or they try to hold you back by discouraging you from talking what you want to talk about, because maybe that's just out of the interest of anybody else or themselves. And the discouraging notion that leads to impact on the whole entire island, which will make people want to continue to stay silent because their opinions don't matter.
Yeah. Well, I think Bob Marley shared much that could be considered prophetic, considered as such by many of us, but nonetheless, he says, none but ourselves can free our mind, right? So emancipate yourself from mental slavery. And it's knowledge But thank you for sharing. Maybe we'll pick up on it. We'll join the other callers. Let's look for civility and sobriety. Let's look for stability and a sense of safety and security. But let's pause now and come back and talk to our listeners. Stay tuned.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The Commission for Standards in Public Life reminds all persons subject to the Standards in Public Life Act that they are required to submit their annual declarations by no later than Sunday, the 30th of July.
To determine if you are required under the Act to submit a declaration, visit www.standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky/register of interest.
Again, the deadline for submissions of declarations to the Register of Interest via the online portal in accordance with the Standards in Public Life Act is Sunday, the 30th of July.
I think I'm gonna search the town and get lost with a girl who can fill me right up with her charm.
Friends of Jamich presents a fundraising beach barbecue on Wednesday, July 26th at Coral Beach. Live music by J.R. Douglas,
Tropical Days,
High Tide,
Musical Crew,
DJ Alec, Mixmaster,
DJ Martino.
Gates open at 4 p.m. till 11 p.m. 2 for 1 happy hour, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Proudly sponsored by
The Caymanian Times, Monster Media, Radio Cayman, Young Blood Production, Coral Beach.
Part proceeds in aid of Jamich Cancer Recovery.
Grand Cayman, get ready as Roma United Sports Club, Jake and Money, and Kingston 62 present the official Jamaica Independence Celebration. Friday, August 4 at the Lion Center, featuring live from Jamaica, Tessa Chin, alongside the 5th Division Band. Also, Leroy Evans, Terry Williams, and Cayman's best dancers. Lots of prizes and giveaways. Kids talent contest, best dress competition, and much more. Held here from 5 to 9 p.m. Get your PSA, diabetes, and blood pressure check for free. It's Jamaica Independence Celebration, Friday, August 4 at the Lion Center. Sponsored by Best Dressed Chicken, Popeyes, Digicel, Royal Medical, Kmart, Cost You Less, Radio Cayman, Breeze FM, Cayman Airways, iCool Air Conditioning, and Cayman Hair and Beauty Supply.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is open line. Let's take this call. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, you can thank me again today for calling.
Of course, sir. You take time to call. We certainly appreciate it. So thank you for calling.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, Mr. Sterling, I got a visa to go to Georgetown this morning, and that was the hardest thing for me to get. I had to give it to myself. But, I went down. And I'm so sad when I drive down to know where I'm coming from and know where I'm at now in Cayman. And I was driving through an area, and it had a funny scent. And I was looking around, Mr. Sterling. I don't know if the garbage trucks is not running anymore or what, but the garbage I see around the town, residential areas, is piled up. I don't know what is happening. We talking good things, tourism, new flights going different places, but our residential areas aren't smelling the way that they're supposed to smell, and I'm just wondering if anybody can say anything about the garbage truck, because it's been a while. I haven't saw them, because I know sometimes it comes at midnight, but there's a lot of garbage around town, Mr. Sterling. A lot of garbage. I don't know what's happening. And I'm listening to the people calling on your show, and everybody is talking about how the seniors are being treated on the island. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore, because I've been bringing it up from the time that I think I had sent you a flyer from the trade winds in the 80s when I was in the police service. And not service, it was a police force when I was there. It's a police service now. And I don't know any part else of the world that they have a police service, but when I was there, it was a police force. And my certificate, how on the wall says a force, but it's changed now. And it is very sad, because myself and Gilbert McLaughlin, the sergeant, when we was in the traffic department, we made posters and for the disabled, and we stuck them up around supermarkets, courthouse, post offices, and about there, and we encouraged the places, the stores even, to and offices to put chairs and benches for the disabled or the elderly, that they could sit and wait their turn, because most of them ain't fussy about their turn. They will wait their turn once they're comfortable sitting down, because remember, they can't work no more or anything, so they're not in any hurry to they're not in any hurry to go anywhere to work. But I brought this up to the present premier some time back, and I don't see anything being done about it. But the elderly people are supposed to be treated first. They're senior citizens. They're prepared the way for these new generations, and they're not being treated the way that they're being treated. They're not supposed to be treated that way. They're supposed to be treated with respect and courtesy, and they're supposed to be comfortable in where they are. Even I'm seeing people that their helpers are roughing them up, and that's not fair. I saw a lady roughing up an elderly man a few days ago in a supermarket. He wanted something. He wanted to buy something for himself, and he asked her for it, and she said, "Nope, you don't have to get that. You're not getting that." And that's not the way. And even if it was his own people. But these are foreign people treating the citizens of Cayman Islands that way. And I am begging again on the government to step up and look out and protect the senior citizen of this island.
Can I
please, whoever is listening, you know?
Yeah. Let me ask of you, and hopefully maybe I ask it not only respectfully but appropriately to you and to others listening, and maybe invite their response. In Cayman, with all the services that we need to do, two questions. One, are we willing to do it for ourselves, for each other? So take care as Caymanians of our, Caymanian elderly. And then secondly, are there enough of us to do that? So are we willing to do it? And let me ask that to you first, to your view. The services, from taking care to our elderly, to the garbage collections, to all those things. Are we willing to do that?
I believe we have some that is very willing. Once they're treated the same way as the foreigners that are coming in and doing it are treated, then I think we got a lot of people that would agree to that.
Right.
I think so. Because I know I looked after my mother till she passed. I held her hand.
Yes, sir. And
I'm saying generations changes.
Right.
And maybe demands of the life that we live in, we can no better do.
Right. So here's the other question, and this is more broadly. We're told that the justification for work permits is that there are not enough Caymanians to do it. Some would counter and say, well, we've grown the population, we've increased the demands for services, both the service, the clientele in the hospitality, the financial services, the construction, across the globe. So as a result, we need to bring in people. Some would say, well, you bring in people to build more, for more people to bring in to more. So with that in mind, is it then that there are not enough of us, so we need to do that and justify the imported labor? Or is it that we need to rethink our approach to population growth? What is your view on that?
Mr. Sterling, my view is plenty Caymanians unemployed, pay them the right wages, and see what happens. That is all. But they're not doing that. I am telling you, I see people coming on the island with work permits in their hand. And they're telling me now that you can do the English test online. Are you that is doing this English test online to the person that is applying for this work permit? Do you see them on video? Do you see their passport picture showing you their same picture? And yet, Mr. Sterling, they say that the wise come from the east, so I live in the east. Let me tell you something. There is all kind of tricks to the book. And that not going to stop. There are all kind of ways to beat the system. And that's what is happening here. If you give the Caymanians the fair wages, they will work. Okay? But they're not getting you know what, they're keeping the wages so low, Mr. Sterling? Because the Caymanians can't work for that wage. But the foreigners that come in here, they can work for it wherever they're coming from. Honduras, Jamaica, the Philippines, wherever. Because when they send their money home, they're getting double, some getting triple on it. Simple as that. So that is why they're keeping the Caymanians saying that they don't want to work, it's not enough work. Plenty Caymanians unemployed, plenty, and want to work. I know some 1 year not hit a lick. Only the grace of God keeping them going.
Thank you very much. So, and with great respect to you, we're at the 2 p.m. Headline News. So let's just pause. When we come back, I want to invite you to call. Again, thank you, sir, for calling.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Ministry of Border Control and Labour has a new Deputy Chief Officer and 2 Senior Policy Officers. Danielle Roberts as Deputy Chief Officer and new Senior Policy Officer Rolna DaCosta and Justin Hislop. In international news, a court in Brussels has found 6 men guilty of terrorist murder more than 7 years after a suicide bomb attack killed 32 people at the city's airport and a metro station in March 2016. After a long trial and 19 days of jury deliberations, the court in Brussels returned their verdicts. Several of those on trial had already been convicted of taking part in the Paris terror attacks months earlier. Extreme weather has been battering Italy from north to south. Wildfires are raging in Sicily after weeks of record-breaking temperatures, with local media warning that the city of Palermo is encircled by fires. Meanwhile, northern regions are reeling from violent storms and high winds that uprooted trees and lifted roofs off of buildings. In some places, tennis ball-sized hailstones injured people, damaged cars, and destroyed crops. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
You know you've dreamed of that Mercedes, the smooth leather, the style, luxury that feels so good. Ooh la la. With the prestigious 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLA 200 up for grabs in this year's Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama fundraiser. This is your chance to make that dream come true. Tickets are $25 for 1, 3 for $65, or 5 for $100. Benzorama fundraiser tickets are available with Lions Club members and various sales outlets. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzorama fundraiser supports numerous community initiatives, include site screening, Christmas delivery, restoration, and social services.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
I think I'm gonna search the town and get lost with a girl who can fill me right up with her charm.
Friends of Jamich presents a fundraising beach barbecue on Wednesday, July 26th at Coral Beach. Live music by J.R. Douglas,
Tropical Days,
High Tide,
Musical Crew,
DJ Alec, Mixmaster,
DJ Martino.
Gates open at 4 p.m. till 11 p.m. 2 for 1 happy hour, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Proudly sponsored by
The Caymanian Times, Monster Media, Radio Cayman, Young Blood Production, Coral Beach.
Part proceeds in aid of Jamich cancer recovery.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Tuesday. Is that what the date and the day in the calendar indicates? Tuesday. 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261. You can call it if you wish. One of our listeners writes, it says, blessings and abundance to you. Please tell me, how did the Caymanian family survive after the men went to sea? Now, in reading that, perhaps we can pick up on what the last caller shared in relation to a number of things, and in particular, the idea of us taking care of our own. Quickly during the break, someone reminded us that there seems to be a policy, whether it's across any of the other insurance companies for whom the benefit is a part of their insurance plan, but through Cynical, you cannot, take care of your own and be paid for it. You need to hire somebody external to the family. Some would say, well, that would make sense. Some would say, well, does it really? Who would love their own like their own? Some would say it's part of the reason why the police, especially through its commissioners in the past, have shared, well, we can't have Caymanians as police officers because they know and their family to each other. Well, does that mean that people here don't have family from elsewhere that are here too? Or that they're the same color, shape, size, live in the same neighborhood, perhaps part of the same sporting or religious circles or what have you, that somehow precludes them from being as is alleged, biased as well? Don't know. But to the last caller, is there a distinction? Should there be between a police force and a police service? Some would say, well, if it's not a police force anymore, why does it use force? Why does it have tools like guns and other equipment? Those are certainly signs of force, but should it not be a police force as he has said it was when he was there, and maybe it should be? And as he also questioned, our population growth. Well, let's take these calls. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yes, this is Sterling.
Welcome back again.
Thank you. Yeah, in regards to the garbage, on the hours that these guys come up in the morning, look, I know that we greatly appreciate these guys. I know I do. But this been going on now for a few years that they're coming out here, this 2 and 3 o'clock morning shift, when people is sleeping, and well, they used to come at 6 in the morning, and that hasn't gone back to his normal time, I don't think, because it's extent most of the time when they're out here, and what it does is, or what they do is, I guess when it gets sufficient garbage in one section, it takes the machine and take it back to the back of the machine, and it makes a lot of noise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not doing their job. Don't get me wrong, they're doing their job. But this thing about garbage being picked up once a week in Cayman, it got over 70,000 people living in this island. This is crazy. This is crazy. Here we are trying to promote tourism, and what are going to come and see garbage? No, if you're going to clean up anything, if you can't bring out no entertainment, no sightseeing for them coming new, make sure the garbage is under control. And these homes and these apartments and so forth, they just got to do better with these little plastic bags. And I thought that they passed a law sometime that they was going to start charging homeowners for the way they dispose their garbage. I mean, when you go down on Eastern Avenue, I mean, it's like you just cross the dump without even going into the dump road. I'm just going to say how I see it,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it just hurts to know that we're human beings living here. Tourism or no tourism, the garbage needs to be kept under control, and everybody needs to be responsible for their garbage, and they're not being fully responsible. We got rental people who got rental. They don't have any space for the people to park their cars. They go and turn around in other people's cars, yards. We got kids out for the summer playing and carrying on in their own yards. and then someone got to just come and turn in your yard and see your grandchildren in the yard playing and still come in and turn around. That is so disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And that is happening right here in Newlands. And it's not right. I don't know what it would take for them to go and drive around to go where they want to go, or go and drive around, come back to where they want to get, and stop turning in people's yards, especially this time of year where the kids are home, or they shouldn't do it, period. So you don't know what could happen. Someone might have to run in the house for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then in their yard running, and you're coming to us in the yard or turn around the yard because then you're trying to get to the closest point to where you want to go, without going around to get whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be stopped, Sterling. We just here taking everything for granted. And when you start respecting people, because we don't start respecting people, it's going to be more than road rage on this island in due time. I went to a drugstore yesterday, and the lady, she didn't say good morning. I said, well, good morning. And she said something. I don't know what she didn't say. Then I say, the morning is so young. You need to, smile and brighten up your morning by saying good morning to your customers. And we got the poorest of the poorest customer service in this island, just about everywhere that you go. They treat you as if they are doing you a favor. No, we are doing you a favor by coming here and shop and to help make your paycheck and help the owners repurchase their goods for us to come back to buy. Need some customer service. This attitude that we got here in Cayman, it needs to stop. And I say that Caymanians don't want to work. But I'll tell you one thing. With the faces that you cross sometime in these places, I wish that Caymania would go take that job for $6 an hour until we can better do. Because we need some serious smiles and customer service out here in this island. Oh, and by the way, my snack drive is still on, guys. And I went out there with young children looking for water and snacks. Heal me up. Please. Please.
All right.
I didn't got my number. Call Radio Cayman for the number.
You want to give it again while you got a chance or no?
Yeah, give it.
927?
6464.
All right.
Waiting on your call.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
All right. So you want us to take the call, take the final break, and then the call. Please stay on the line.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
It's a 24-karat summer with Digicel. In honor of our first truly COVID-free summer, Digicel is giving away $24,000. Be one of 10 to win $2,400 this July. For a chance to win, all you have to do is switch to Digicel, activate a Prime bundle, or simply pay your bill on time. It's that easy. It takes 2 minutes to get $2,400 richer. Make the choice to win today and visit a Digicel store near you.
Sports fans, tune into Sports Extra tonight at 7 p.m. right here on Radio Cayman with your guest host, Ray Singh, as we feature 2 returning international sporting delegations, the Cayman Islands Women's Rugby Team and Academy Sports Club. We will also be giving away a Pizza Boat gift certificate to 1 lucky listener during the show, courtesy of our newest Sports Extra sponsor, Pizza Boat, located in Queen's Court Plaza.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe Cafe Con Leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us as we take another call. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm right here. It sounds like you had a run for some part in West Bay in 2025. So we can become one MP down the side.
Maybe it'll be 2024.
I'm there.
Thank you for joking with us, but appreciate a vote of confidence.
Yeah. You're a big man now, you can do what you want to do.
Yeah, well,
I know how it is. I know how it is when you're working for people, and especially working for government. You people is scared. You're scared, really scared. And you can't be scared. Somebody have to stand up. Anyway, the young lady there, she was saying they're saying that Caymanians don't want those jobs and they don't want to work and all kind of things. But I don't think that way it is, That was set up from a long time ago, years ago now, to divide and conquer and take over. You understand? So that's exactly where we getting to that, or we actually almost to that point now, where it's almost finished now. It's almost the way they want it. It's not that Caymanians or locals don't want those jobs. You see in the body that's supposed to be representing or people got in a job fair that go on that want to take those jobs, that wants to go and fill those positions. I don't think so. I didn't hardly see. I tell you the truth, I don't know how some people they become like helpers and all them things, because I really don't think that they even get advertised. I don't know.
Yeah.
And babysitters and stuff like that, because I mean, like I said, the local Caymanians they will go work, and once they get a decent salary, of course they will work. And some maybe right now maybe making less than some of those that have been helpers and nannies, especially those nannies, because some of those nannies is working for some of the richest people, and they get good treatment. They get paid, and I guess when those people go away, they buy them clothes, buy them shoes for them and their children, and they give them car to drive, and probably give them a place that they can live into. And when they're ready to go away, they probably take some flights and cruises and all that with them. So how much locals would want like to enjoy that life too? It's just that they're not giving the locals the opportunity. And what happened now, the foreign people that get those jobs, they spread it like a friend of, or say they got help, or who they work for, and they'll say, oh, I have a friend that she needs to help her. And they'll say, oh yeah, I got a cousin, I got a friend, and automatically they get their nationality if they got to bring them in. So that the job not even be advertised. All they got to do is say to that person that's working for them, and that's it, the job is taken. So locals can't get the opportunity to get those jobs. And that's the reason why you partly see, like, especially one particular nationality that has, that gets those jobs, because they are telling their friends and their cousins and their neighbors and everybody. So locals didn't get the chance to even hear the advertisement or hear that anything like that available. So this thing will never stop. And if it's going through work, I don't know exactly how they get that done, but I know they used to have listings of like on the book that people could just go right in there and see the listings and so forth. But like I said, it has to be a change in the system. These jobs have to be advertised. It has to be a job fair. This can even start from in the schools, children graduating probably all children that are going to college or whatever. So they would take those type of jobs. They're physically fit. I mean, they're young and everything. They got strength. They can pick up people. I mean, like sick people or hold up babies and stuff like that. So it's like all these jobs supposed to be advertised within the schools. If you're working in companies, Foster's, Cape Wireless, Flow, CUC, everybody's supposed to be in the schools having job fairs when time, for children when they're getting ready to graduate. But I don't know how the system works now. So that's why it's not changing.
Mm-hmm.
Because instead of the system going forward, because years ago it was forward, it was better than now. All those things used to happen within the schools. Cape Wireless used to be there, CUC used to be there, all those different companies, Scotia Bank, Royal Bank, all kind of different companies used to be in the school. Children fill out application forms, and they get hired right on the spot. But now, I don't know really what's going on. And like I said, it's really sad. It's really sad, and it's not going to get any better. And who is hiring authorities sometimes, a majority of times probably they're the biggest fight, and sometimes they don't really want their locals there because they're probably most of their locals themselves, and when locals go into a job, they're, especially when they stand up and speak up and they can go against you, they don't care how strong you is, how educated you is, what kind of position you have. They're not going to allow you to talk down on top of them and push them around. No, they're not going to work. That's why they'd rather hire the foreign people, because they can, like you said, they can rub them up in the garbage and they're going to keep quiet because just having that job alone makes them happy to be in the Cayman Islands, But our locals going to stand up to you. You know what I mean? So it's not going to get no better. The system has to change. And for the change of the system, you got to change the players. It's like a football game. If you have a football team, if you got a football team that keep playing, and they can't win, you got to change up the players. You understand?
The players, the coach, maybe your
and the coach.
Your game plan.
The coach too. Yeah, the coach.
You have to make some changes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really what's happening. And some people, they've been in a system so long, sitting in the position where they have the power and they control the money, but they get relaxed on the money now, and they don't care about what's going on in the system. Sometimes they're so, what you would say, so tired of fighting people or fighting the workers that they give up in their seat.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care what take place, They just get fed up with it.
But is it that as a society, and not just the people we elect or the people we appoint, but we ourselves, are we thinking about today and tomorrow and 10 years from now? I mean, are we thinking about, what's happening now and what could happen later?
Well, I can tell you what, and I can tell you personally for myself, I've been doing a lot of thinking for me, and I've been doing a lot of thinking for my past co-workers, and I've been doing a lot of thinking for family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a person who don't really keep friends. No, I don't keep friends. You understand? But what I'm saying to you is, I did that. And let me tell you something. Those people will be the same people that will turn against you when you stand and do the right things for them. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they do it because they see that you realize that it doesn't even make sense. You understand? Because they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And you got something just there for you to be for them.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get tired, and they're still doing the same thing. So you actually got to hang up your gloves and say, do what you want to do. Do what you have to do.
Okay.
Maybe you want to do it in front of a stairs, so you can do it behind the back. When it gets to that point, it's like, it don't make no more sense because, like you said, they would send you to your grave and they'll be still walking around here doing the same thing. So you got to think about, say, well, I got a life too. I want to live a little longer. You understand? So if you continue to allow them to just stand alone, or stand there and don't help themselves, don't stand up and speak up for themselves and be helpful to themselves, then they will put you that, I guess.
Right.
You'll be probably in your bedridden with somebody got mind you because they don't care.
Let me share.
Like I said, they will send you to your grave fighting for them.
Yeah. Let me share with you a message that we just received. So the caller is correct. I often wonder why work, W-O-R-C, work, does not go into the schools with a list of careers that are in demand. They should say to the students, hey, look, these are the jobs that we grant the most permits for, so maybe consider a career or a job in these areas. The person says, kind of common sense, right?
Exactly.
Now,
and you can actually give them the educational part of it too, because probably like they look at it like, help her, help her just clean and wash and clean the toilets and make the bed and that's how the little children look at it. But if you go in intelligently with them and say, you can be a helper, but also you can train to be a nurse. You can train to CPR. You can get into that field like that.
But is it that we are telling or
they're not educating the younger generation towards a future, what you call a future career. You understand? They think that if they don't go work in the bank or be in the office, sitting behind a chair, putting their fingers on a computer or doing numbers or something like that.
Yeah. Our listener says, the caller is so right. You have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's right. You imagine if people had a look at it, the garbage need to be cleaned.
Yeah.
Picked up. So you imagine the people that thought about, okay, I don't want to do that. You imagine the day that you see these guys, those workers will go there and make a strike and decide they ain't going to clean the garbage out there.
But is that part of the challenge that we are devaluing some jobs? Not just that, but are we looking at jobs and saying, they're not important, so we're devaluing the jobs, we don't see the importance of the jobs, we're discouraging our people. And it doesn't matter whether it's
not necessarily that they don't value their job, because no one goes to a job and goes to their job and enjoys or wants to be there at that job. No care.
Right. But I mean, the society will say to its people deliberately, sometimes in a very, very, I'll be mindful because of the hour. I don't want to go over too much, so we'll pick it up. But go, your thoughts.
Yeah, especially those that like I said, working in the garbage. It's not that they don't care or they don't want to or do business about their job or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not nothing so about that. But it can be, or most likely it is, that they're not being treated in the proper manner.
Yeah.
And they're not going to speak out. They're not going to stand up and speak out because they're scared. Yeah. You understand? And sometimes when you see this stuff here going on with this garbage, they can tell in about it, but they can't tell me. A lot of times you see the garbage they're just not being picked up. It's because it's not a proper working environment. They're not being treated the right way.
Yeah.
You understand? So everything is getting the blame. The machine is getting the blame. This is getting the blame. That is getting the blame. You didn't need to change the management. It isn't time for the management to be changed. It's complete. I mean, that's it. People who don't like it come against me. I don't care.
Yeah.
But they need to be changed. But the workers not going to say it because they are afraid. Yeah. They are afraid. They are afraid of being written up. They're afraid of being disciplined. They're being afraid of being terminated. They're being afraid to to be fired. They're being afraid of their illness to be used against them in medical boarding. Okay? Because if they can't get you no other way, they get you by your illness. You understand?
Well, I always appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Any final quick thoughts you want to leave?
Yeah, well, that's all I got to say.
Okay.
And the garbage thing, they got changed. I
Yeah.
can tell you that. They got changed. You better got changed the management.
Yeah. Well, you certainly, hopefully making us think. So hopefully we think before we act, and hopefully we're willing to act from a considered perspective. So thank you very much, all right?
Well, I don't care because they don't need to talk to me. I don't business about it. It doesn't hurt me.
All right. Talk to you soon, okay?
Don't blow no breath at me. Thank you.
Take care. And as we close out, listeners' rights, what about entry level cashiers, the bellhops, servers, etc.? Those who are sending their thoughts, we'll read them tomorrow. This one types, I don't think it is that the garbage is not being collected. Enough containers are not put out, for the tenants. This one says, I think if some of these MPs started at the bottom, they would be better MPs. Most are so most are so out of touch with the struggles of the average Caymanian. Well, humility before honor, we're reminded, and sometimes, as our caller shared, maybe if we have done certain jobs, we appreciate the value of the job. Like they say, if you have to, back your own water, you might value each drop. I'm grateful for my parents giving me the chance to work. I had a chance to work in the evenings and weekends, and whether it was, taking out garbage and cleaning garbage cans and cutting grass and doing other things that some may look down upon, it made you appreciate that if you want something, you got to work for it, and when you earn it, you value it because it came from the service and the sacrifice. But perhaps too many of us, and not just those who have come here from other places who try to lord it over, but maybe some of us don't no longer have that sense of humility. Let's talk about it more tomorrow, but with a view of finding solutions. And as we complain, it can be constructive, but let's see if we can find a solution. Please enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Kindly be very safe in your endeavors, or whether you're working in the yard, whether you're driving or riding or walking or somewhere on the roads, and look out for each other. As Mr. Art reminds us, and we are our brother's keeper, so please join him tomorrow morning for the record, and then come back for Talk Today right after the midday news. Until then, my friends, have a wonderful, blessed, safe, enjoyable, and productive afternoon.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Radio Cayman. The voice. The heart.